From plants to how bioethanol drives change. What is bioethanol? It's a renewable biofuel that's helping us move towards a cleaner and more sustainable future. It's an alcohol-based fuel made from plants like corn, sugarcane, or cellulose crops. Unlike gasoline, which comes from fossil fuels, deep underground, bioethanol is made from recently grown plants, meaning it's part of the short-term carbon cycle. The biological source and how it's produced. The source of bioethanol depends on where it's made. In, say, for the United States, it's mainly made from corn. In Brazil, it usually comes from sugarcane. In newer research, scientists are turning cellulose materials, things like crop waste, wood chips, into the bioethanol. These plants use photosynthesis to capture carbon dioxide from the air and store it as sugars. That's the carbon that later becomes our fuel. The process of making bioethanol is actually similar to making beer or wine. First, the plant material is harvested and ground down. Then enzymes break down the starches into sugars. Next comes fermentation, where yeast consumes those sugars and converts them into ethanol and carbon dioxide, a process known as anaerobic respiration. Finally, the ethanol is distilled and purified so it can be used as fuel in our cars and trucks. Its use and its environmental and economical impact. Bioethanol is not just experimental, it's widely used around the world. In the US, most gasoline already contains about 5 to 10 to 15% ethanol. At the same time, scientists are developing next generation ethanol that uses waste instead of fruit crops, making it even more sustainable. When it comes to carbon emissions, bioethanol offers a big advantage because the plants use it to make it absorb CO2 as they grow. The overall carbon footprint is smaller. Compared to gasoline, corn-based ethanol can reduce emissions up to 20 to 40%, and sugarcane ethanol can reduce them by up to 90% on farming practices, fertilizer use, and energy use production. So sustainability matters at every step. Economically, bioethanol supports farmers and rural communities. It creates jobs in agriculture, processing, and fuel transport. In the US alone, the ethanol industry contributes billions of dollars each year to the economy. However, using food crops for fuel can sometimes raise food prices, which is why research into non-food bioethanol is so important. The communication and plan of action. Governments and energy organizations are working to increase the public awareness of bioethanol. The U.S. Department of Energy promotes E10 and E85 fuels. Many modern vehicles today are labeled as mixed fuels, showing that they can run on either gasoline or ethanol blends. Based on the research I did, bioethanol is proven cleaner alternative to fossil fuels. To improve it further, we should invest in cellulose ethanol from crop waste and grasses, improve enzyme technology to make production faster and cheaper, and use renewable energy in ethanol plants to make the entire process carbon neutral. If funding weren't an obstacle, I propose large-scale cellulose ethanol facilities and combine it with sustainable farming and public education programs to encourage adoption. With enough investment, bioethanol could play a major role in achieving global net zero emissions. The production of bioethanol from food waste might result in a long-lasting method that would satisfy both the growing population energy needs and the problem of disposing of food waste. According to the estimates, 1/3 of the food produced worldwide, or 1/3 billion tons annually, is wasted. Biofuels like bioethanol reduce dependency on fossil fuels and can operate with a fleet of internal combustion engines. Using biofuels can decrease carbon dioxide emissions from internal combustion engine fleets. Typically, bioethanol production involves a micro fermentation of fermentable carbohydrates into ethanol. And these are my sites.